Thank you very much. This is from Witness Street. It's an opening chapter, which is currently making the rounds of agents and publishers, so a lot of silence so far. But Witness Street. My truck was 2 miles down the road, 2 miles in the dark along backcountry Oregon roads, either flooded or in the process of washing out. An unrelenting rain battered the roof of my sanctuary, a dark green porta potty by the roadside near the crest of the hill. If I made it to the truck in the pitch dark, I'd need to tread carefully in the chilly, clattering rain. Would have to listen to my footsteps to know what kind of ground lay beneath my feet. The night is dark, and I'm far from home, I whispered, a kind of incantation from Cardinal Newman's poem, The Pillar of the Cloud. As I perched on the closed toilet lid, I had every reason to believe that my truck, a 30-year-old 1993 GMC Jimmy, wouldn't start, since that's where it had died that morning. I left it by the side of the road and hitched a ride on one of the dump trucks up to the job site, where I was casual labor on the install of a drainage system for a farm behind the next hill. Backhoes, cranes, and dump trucks moved with rumbling efficiency, but it was down to guys like me to stand in the muck, shoveling sand and gravel into place, raking and settling the earth into small spaces. It was good money and a 2-week job at least, with the promise of more like it to come. Desperate, eager idiot that I was, I wanted to look dedicated and declined a ride when the foreman left at the end of the day, a faint drizzle just beginning. Now I wondered how long I could stay in the toilet, breathing tea-berry-scented chemical disinfectant and the acrid vinegar fumes or whatever the hell the guys who worked in the nearby vineyard had eaten. I would open the door every so often to draw in fresh, if damp, air. When the door to my classic palace was open, I'd steal a glance to the right, toward a strange warehouse-like building set behind a wide gravel parking lot on the opposite side of the road. It was massive, lit by sconces embedded along the walls every 8 feet or so, and a flat roof, metal siding, and a covered lighted entry, accented with a pair of potted yews and some geraniums, like a valet parking drop-off spot. Something about the building had made me decide that refuge in an evil-smelling toilet was the better choice. The building thrummed with the utilitarian belligerence of one of those gentlemen's clubs you see set back from a busy highway. The gravel lot in front brimmed with well-pointed waxed pickup trucks and a few of those pompous Ford Bronco Sports, the Range Rover's fat, annoying little brother. I hadn't seen or heard anyone come or go, and I'd been sitting there for hours. Outside, rain battered the landscape, slapped a passionate, if hollow rhythm on the plastic roof. The raucous gush of new-formed streams in nearby ditches competed with the crash of rain pummeling saturated ground. As I cast my hearing into the darkness, straining for any sign that the rain was slowing, I heard footsteps on gravel, far off, and a voice. Edging the door open, a loud crack split the watery din. In the parking lot, a man lay face down on the ground. 2 men stood over him. One held a pistol. He fired 2 more times into the body in rapid succession. They were about 40 yards away, but even at that distance, in the murky light in the covered entry, a darkness spread across the gravel. There was just enough light to see their silhouettes. Each was dressed in heavy rain gear with a hood over a baseball cap and drawn tight under the chin. The gunman's face no more than a gray spot. The other had his back to me. Inside the deafening rain, I could hear my own breathing. Hot panic surged within me against the cold. The gunman continued to look downward at the body. His compatriot placed a comforting hand on his shoulder before gazing out through the rain and dark, reassuring himself that there was no one else around. Turning around, he looked right at me. I froze, felt my stomach tighten, my breathing stop. After a moment, he turned his head to look down the hill. I had seen him, but at this distance in the dark, he couldn't see me. Satisfied that we were alone, he left the gunman standing over the body and trotted to the nearest pickup truck, one of the few with a battered and weathered look like maybe it was used for real work. He grabbed a muddy 5-gallon bucket from the truck bed and scooped by one of the raging gullies next to the parking lot to fill it. Walking back to the body, he dumped water over the head like a comic wake-up scene in a movie. He put down the bucket, and he and the gunman each grabbed an arm and leg. The body was small and slight compared with them, as they carried it toward the weather-beaten truck. Through the open porta potty door, I stared on, unable to take my eyes off what was happening. They set about their grim work, first rolling him into a tarp next to the truck, then hoisting the thin body into the back. Another trek with the bucket to dilute the black cloud of seeping blood. I couldn't dispel the look of the second man, felt more than seen in the darkness. Where the shooter had seemed to register dismay, or maybe regret, I'd sensed a vacuous malevolence in the compatriot as he turned to stare through me. It was he who now kneeled to pick up the shell casings from the gravel, putting them in his jacket pocket, but not before giving them a sensuous sniff in his cupped hand. The weather truck must have been the dead man's. As they prepared to leave, there was a pantomime dumb show where each accused the other of having the keys. The shooter jumped into the bed of the truck, unrolled the body, and fished for keys in the dead man's pockets. The keys found, the other man helped roll the body back into the tarp. As they prepared to leave, the gunman grabbing the dead man's pickup and the other, a shinier, newer truck, I eased the toilet door closed and flipped the lock. Occupado. But not before I saw them begin rolling toward the gravel road, headlights off. The looming crunch of wheels on gravel cracked and popped like it was inside with me. I held my breath as they passed inexorably by, frightened that they might shoot through the door of the porta potty for good measure, or because it seemed fun. The rain slowed, and I could hear the two trucks creep along the road, putting distance between them and me. The sound of their wheels diminished, and I tried to conjure to make it work. After about half an hour, I heard nothing, not even the faint patter of rain now, but I stayed there, shivering, listening to the night.